Hi everyone, this is Victoria from We Are the Music Makers, and today I am talking about how to create a curriculum outline for your school. A curriculum outline takes the concepts that you want to cover and it breaks them down by grade level. I've done a video on a curriculum outline already, but today I wanted to address it from a few different starting points that you can use as inspiration or a springboard for your own classroom. All of these documents are available in the planning binder on my website. The planning binder is a subscription planning service for music teachers who want to see a cohesive and intentional year planned out and put into action. The planning binder covers curriculum outlines. It has a concept and song list for each grade level that includes the sheet music as well. It has scope and sequences for kinder through third grade. It has concept plans for individual concepts and monthly plans. So you can see how the activities are broken down and sequenced throughout the month. So now let's look at a possible Kodaly sequence and a possible Orff sequence for your curriculum outline. Here is a possible Kodaly-Inspired sequence. Now I say possible and inspired because every teacher is unique and every teacher is going to apply the Kodaly philosophy in a different way in his or her classroom. This is one example. So you can see here that in kindergarten we're starting with 4 voices, tuneful singing, and a differentiation between high and low. By the time we get to 5th grade, we are looking at students working consciously in the key of G major, knowing about a melodic sequence, and working with Dorian and Mixolydian modes. In rhythm, students are starting with the difference between a sound and silence. They are working on long and short sounds, steady beat, and rhythm. By the time they get to 5th grade, they are working with compound meter like 6/8 or 9/8 or 12/8, and they're also working in cut time. There are a number of different resources out there that you could use when you're creating a Kodaly-inspired curriculum outline. You can look at lesson planning in a Kodaly setting. You can look at First We Sing, and you could look at any of the Kodaly Today book series. Now let's look at a possible Orff-Inspired curriculum outline. You'll notice that a lot of the kindergarten concepts are the same from an Orff-Inspired outline and a Kodaly-Inspired outline. A lot of the foundational ideas that you cover in kindergarten are going to remain consistent. So things like 4 voices, tuneful singing, the differentiation between high and low, things like steady beat and the rhythm of the words. Those are pretty consistent across the board. Now, in the Orff sequence, by the time you get to 5th grade, you are working on things like Dorian, Mixolydian, Phrygian, and maybe even Lydian. You can see that there are a lot of different melodic modes that the Orff sequence might cover by the time you get to 5th grade. In the rhythm section, you'll see things like 5/4 or 7/8, so uneven meter, and then also working with mixed meter. If you are interested in this kind of Orff-inspired curriculum outline, you can look at, again, a number of different sources. You might consider looking at the book Elementaria, you could look at Discovering Orff, or the Artful, Playful, Mindful series from Jane Frazee. Now, when we talk about a curriculum outline for beginners, I mean that perhaps your students are not used to you implementing this kind of planning approach, and so you might need to start at the basics with them. Or you might expect to have a huge influx of new students next year, or you might be at a new school. Whatever the case is, it's helpful to have a game plan when you are starting this approach with new students. So as we look at this outline for beginners, you can see that the kindergarten concepts are about the same as what we were looking at in the Orff-Inspired and the Kodaly-Inspired sequences. In 1st grade, I am keeping this sequence almost exactly the same as kindergarten. I am just adding on one more idea, and that is so and me. You'll also notice that I took out high and low, and that's because I expect that to be covered within the so and me context. In 2nd grade, I am keeping, again, about the same sequence of concepts and adding on a few more here in the rhythm section and law for melody. I am also adding in question and answer, ostinato, and partner songs. And because we are moving on to law, I have added a 3-line staff. Now, in 3rd, 4th, and 5th, things are going to change quite a bit in terms of the melodic sequence. Here I am starting with mi, re, do instead of with so and mi, and students are going to be expected to move through the pentatone fairly quickly. By the time I get to 5th grade, I am keeping my 2 most important concepts across any grade level at any time, and those are steady beat and the singing voice. Everything we do comes down to those 2 concepts. By the time students are in 5th grade, as long as they have developed steady beat and a singing voice, I'm expecting them to be able to move through this progression of concepts fairly quickly. So in that first year, I am expecting students to get to 2/4 meter and to a half note. I'm expecting them to get to low so and high do, an 8-beat phrase. I'm expecting them to sing in a round, things like a crescendo, decrescendo, and then double bar lines, things like that. Again, all of these documents are available in the Planning Binder subscription on my website. They come as Google Drive templates so that you can edit and adapt and change and tweak them for your own classroom needs. That site also has my own personal curriculum outline if you're interested in seeing how I take all of these different approaches and break them down in my own classroom. If you have any questions or comments, you can drop them below and I will look forward to reading them. Thank you so much for watching and happy teaching!